Raphaël, it's minus 11 outside, minus 22 with the wind chill, and you can vouch for that. You walked over here. I confirm.
I just arrived from outside, and just the walk from Metro Papineau to the station here, corner René Lévesque and Papineau, it's a 3 minutes walk, and my hands are freezing.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Well, there's so much, like, where do we start?
As every time. Every week I come here, there's too many topics to choose from.
So the CAQ tabled the bill today to make those infamous brownies illegal.
It's over now. No more brownies.
No more brownies.
No more brownies. So, yes, well, actually, that's a bill that was tabled by Minister Jean-François Roberge. So, as we have heard in the past few weeks, and I think everybody was pretty surprised to learn that it's actually legal in a leadership campaign to pay someone to vote for you. So we don't know if it really happened or not at the Liberal Party of Quebec. So there are allegations. It's not confirmed so far. Mm-hmm. But still, the minister and the CQ government wanted to move forward quickly to table a bill to ban this from happening. And this is not just including leadership campaigns. It's also it's also about now investitures in ridings across the province. It's also going to be covering the municipal sector. So interesting here. And I think the strategy here behind all of this with the CQ is to bring also the Liberal MNAs to take a stance on these practices. Mm-hmm. Because if ever, as we know, there are currently some investigations into what has really happened or not at the Quebec Liberal Party. They have also their internal investigation going on at the moment. And if ever, the report of the Judge Fournier is expected by the end of January. If ever these allegations were confirmed, if ever some people have given, quote, brownies, here some people pretend it is a brown bill, a $100 bill in exchange for a vote for Pablo Rodriguez, for instance. If ever that was confirmed, well, I'm sure the CQ here wants to bring the Liberal Party to take a stance as to this is not acceptable in advance before we get the report from the Judge Fournier regarding these allegations. Which
they would be doing by voting on this bill.
By voting on this bill. And of course, you can't vote against it. You're going to look like the bad
very suspicious.
The bad guys here if you vote against that bill. So what Minister Roberge said is that he's expecting all parties to agree to this, and I'm expecting also all parties to vote in favor of that bill. That should be adopted if everything goes as planned by the end of the current session, so before the session is suspended for the holiday season. So it's going to be a very fast process in Quebec City at the National Assembly, but still interesting strategy here. We have allegations. They're not confirmed, but still the government wanted to move quickly. And I think here there's a reason. The reason behind it is political. They want to bring their opponents, the Liberal Party, to take a stance on this and say this is unacceptable. And also at the same time, the more we talk about brownies, the more it's reinforcing the perception among the population that something happened, even though we have absolutely no proof of it so far.
Yeah, in politics, as in many areas of life, perception is probably about 95% of reality.
Absolutely. Facts don't always matter in politics. It's always about impressions. And as we have seen in recent polls, even among the membership of the Liberal Party, this whole crisis has deeply affected the perception of the population regarding Pablo Rodriguez and his leadership. And as you mentioned, perception is often the key in politics.
And just the fact that they were using the term brownie instead of a $100 bill, it kind of speaks to the fact that they knew they were doing something wrong. But there's a loophole and there's a way around it. And,
then again, who was behind those text messages? All of that is so still blurry to all of us. Mm-hmm. So we need to have concrete answers regarding the situation. We need to clarify what really happened or not. But still, here the government is picking up on this and trying to present itself as the most ethical party, acting on things that seem immoral to a lot of people, to the majority. I'm sure people who are listening at home agree that it's totally immoral to buy votes for a candidate or another. So here, I would say, strategically speaking, it's a good move for the CAQ because they're trying to corner here the Liberals and bring them to vote on something that directly affected the reputation of their party in the past few weeks.
Right. And it goes to the old saying as well, just because something is legal doesn't mean it's right.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's certainly not right. And there was a loophole, obviously, in the law so far. I'm glad we are acting on it. It's unacceptable. And if those practices still happen today in any party, it has to stop now.
Now, another controversy going on in Quebec City, not only in the halls of the National Assembly, but I would imagine too in some of the finer little boîtes on Grande Allée, is they're talking about Bill 1. Mm-hmm. And the consultations began today into Quebec's new constitution. And
many groups are opposed to it. 300 groups are actually opposed to it. It's the largest consultation that has happened in the National Assembly for over 20 years now. Wow. So 211 groups specifically are going to be heard. So a major consultation here. And we hear a lot of criticism about this Bill 1 and this Constitution project that was tabled by Justice Minister Simon-Jolin Barrette. But I want to address some of these because I talked earlier today to the office of Minister Jolin Barrette, and they have some interesting points that I want to bring up here because, yes, there were lots of criticism regarding the fact that there were no real consultations prior to the bill being tabled by the minister. Mm-hmm. Let's remind people also that this bill was tabled following the conclusions, the report of a commission, the Proulx-Rousseau Commission, that did consult civil society, that did consult constitutionalists, experts from the sector of the law, experts from community groups, etc. So for 7 months, they have consulted these groups, and they eventually tabled a report recommending the government to move forward with that project of constitution. So there were consultations, maybe, of course, for a constitution that aims at being the mother of all laws. Maybe we could have had a larger assembly, as we have seen in other countries and states where they adopt such constitutions. Sometimes they have what they call an assemblée constituante in French. So regrouping a large amount of people representing all areas of our society. That could have been done, but still there were consultations. That's for the consultation part and the criticisms regarding this. I want to talk also about abortion, because we hear many groups criticizing the government's intention to include in this bill the right of women to choose for their own body. And I think it's important here to bring the distinction between what's in the bill right now and the fact that it's not a bill about abortion specifically. And it's not opening the door, according to the minister at least, it's not necessarily opening the door to that being challenged in courts eventually. So what we have seen, and there are some constitutionalists that say, look, right now what we have, the only protection we have for abortion and for the right of women to choose for their own body is past rulings from courts. And we have seen in other countries in the past, such as the US, for instance, judges overruling past rulings. Overturning past rulings. So it's something that is not fixed. It's not it's not necessarily guaranteed that we won't have any judges in the future overturning those rulings. So we have to make sure that we put it in our constitution and that we engage the responsibility of the state towards protecting those rights for women. So that's what they're saying. I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying it's an interesting point of view. We don't hear much about it. We hear a lot about the groups that are challenging this, but I think it's also an important perspective that they have on the topic. And I don't believe that if you legislate on something forcibly, you're opening the door to this being challenged eventually in courts.
Right. That's some thoughtful insight onto a very tricky and controversial
and
topic.
sensitive of course, because we understand that women are worried about anything that could affect their rights, and I think here the vast majority in Quebec agrees with we want to maintain those rights, and I think the intention here, I think it was in the end a catch-22, because whether the government included or not that topic in its project for a constitution, it would have been criticized, because had it not acted on this, had it not included abortion or the right of women to choose for their own body in that constitution project, the exact same groups would have come out publicly to criticize the government for not including it. So right. In the end, do it, don't do it, you would have been criticized no matter what.
Raphael, it's been an absolute pleasure meeting you. I could keep this conversation going for another 45 minutes or so, but I'm not allowed to.
Always a pleasure, Tom. I'll be back next week anyway.
Great. Good seeing you and pleasure meeting you.
Close your eyes and you can hear the entire world come alive. 2026 FIFA World Cup is on, and you can stream it all live on TSN Radio. From the opening kickoff to the final celebration, every match, every moment. Listen to FIFA World Cup on TSN Radio.
Gives Canada the lift off.
Available on iHeartRadio.